Welcome to Voices from the Field podcast presented by Extra Innings Softball, where the stories are real, the conversations are honest, and the game goes way beyond the field. We're bringing you insight, inspiration, and all things softball from the people shaping the sport. This is Voices from the Field, and today we have a really cool guest that I'm super excited to talk to when it comes to the mental game and building up confidence in athletes, which is something you hear a lot when it comes to women and their sports. So we have Paige Tonz today. She is a mental performance coach, a former Division I athlete, and the founder of the Confident Athlete Academy. It is a mental training membership helping girl athletes ages 10 to 18 build the confidence, focus, and resilience they need to perform under pressure and increase their stats. She is a Northwestern University softball alum, and she also coaches. She blends her personal journey with proven mindset tools to help athletes break through slumps, quiet self-doubt, and unlock their full potential on and off the field. So it doesn't matter if you're a parent, a coach, or an athlete, she can help you understand the mental side of the game and how to train it just like you train your body, which is really cool because we've had a lot of different people on talking about how important it is to train your mind just like you would train your muscles. So thank you, Paige, for being on today. And I just kind of want to open it up with telling me a little bit about like what led you to becoming a confidence coach. Kind of tell me about your journey and how all this started.
Yeah, definitely. So, like you said, I played as well. So that really was what led me to all of this, just because I struggled with this stuff growing up. I mean, honestly, I don't really want to say it was like when I was 10, but probably started to like creep in a little bit here and there when I was 10 and entered the club softball world. And, it got more intense and more pressure and higher standards and stuff like that. But all the way up, like just, the good old roller coaster ride from club all the way through the recruiting journey. There's always fun moments there. And then all the way up and through my first 3 years of being a collegiate softball player. And how I like to kind of share like the big like kind of aha moment for me was like the first 3 years of my college career, freshman, sophomore, junior year. I really struggled with my hitting, and I was really frustrated. Like I earned the starting position as catcher in the program, but like my batting average sucked. It was so bad. And it was just like a constant struggle, and it was just so frustrating and kind of heartbreaking because I knew I was better than that, and I knew that like I had what it took. It just was not showing up, and I was just like in my own head. I was my own worst enemy, like all the things that you hear. And it wasn't until my senior year, which really could have gone one or two ways. It could have been like, oh, more pressure, it's my last year of playing softball, but this is the one that ended up happening. I was like, okay, this is like my last year of playing this game that I've poured so much into, like time, energy, sacrifice, all the things. And I was like, it's my last year playing. Like, I'm just going to go out there and whatever happens, and I'm just going to have fun. And luckily, like that approach was really worked for me. And it was like this shift mentally for me that just like allowed me to finally play with some more freedom. And it was like, it's kind of more like, can't really get worse than it already is, right? Hitting wise. So might as well just start thinking about it a little bit differently. And that allowed me to think a little bit differently about myself as a hitter. And I started playing so much better my senior year. I doubled my batting average. I tripled the amount of at-bats that I got. Like all this great stuff was happening. And then I got to the end of senior year. I was like, well, that was great. Like, can I keep going? Like wish I would have known that a little bit earlier.
Just keep playing now where you get to play for 6 years. That'd work too.
I know. I was still in the, era where it was like 4 years, and that's kind of it. Unless you're really, really good, you go on and play in professional leagues. And I mean, I guess I wish, this is just like another random thing, but I wish I would have known a little bit more about like the overseas options and like I probably
Yeah.
should have reached out to some people doing it because I love to travel. That would have been a great option.
Yeah.
But,
Awesome.
you know, we live and learn. So, but with that said, I was like, fast forward, you know, getting into real world, like trying to figure out what I was going to do, what my career was going to look like. And I was like, I really need to show girls and teach girls what I learned like way too late. And I wish I would have learned a lot earlier. And that's really where this whole thing blossomed. And I've been doing it. Actually, it's funny. On this past Saturday, I have like a little reminder that I left my normal, regular, like 9 to 5 job in 2019. So it's
Wow.
wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because I give a lot of lessons still right now. My daughter's getting ready to start her senior year. She's committed to Arkansas and stuff. So I get a lot of people talking to me. And I feel like I spend so much time with the parents on, you know, I hear them say, just have confidence. And I'm like, well, what does confidence look like to you? That's what I literally said that today to a parent. What does confidence look like to you?
Mm-hmm.
When you say that to a 10, a 12, a 14-year-old, just have confidence, what does that mean and what does that look like to you? Because I feel like I hear it coming from you from the outcome. That's not confidence, because we play a game that we fail. So if you're saying they don't have confidence because they didn't go 2 for 3 today or 2 for 4 today, or it's been a game, or God forbid it's been 2 games since they've had a hit, what does confidence for you? What would your definition of confidence for a young athlete look like on the field?
Yep, that's a great question. And it's funny that you even like share like that phrase, because one of the things I always like tell girls to kind of relate to them is like, I know like your mom or your dad or your coach is like, just be confident. Or like I always remember hearing like, Paige, just be confident, or step into the box and believe in yourself. And I'd be like, okay, sure. Like I struck out like in my last 2 at bats. I definitely don't feel confident. But yeah, I like, for me, when you ask that, like I am like what I picture or like would describe confidence is almost when you're, now that I watch the game, is like when you're watching a game, and as a catcher too, it's helpful too, so you know you're reading hitters and kind of figuring that out. So like as a catcher, or like in the stands, you see a girl walk up to a bat and like you think like, oh dang, this girl's definitely getting a hit. Like that's what I would describe as confidence. Like, you know, standing tall, like they just feel comfortable, they don't feel nervous, they don't look tense, they're just like, they look like they're going to come up and get a hit. Like they don't really care who's out there or who they're going up against. So I guess that would probably be my answer. Like, what does confidence actually like look like and feel like? I mean, I feel like we all can feel that when you see a hitter go up. You're like, dang, this girl's definitely going to get a hit. Or, well, this girl's probably easy out or something like that, right? To be totally transparent.
It's kind of like when I was talking to the dad today, I said, I can judge your daughter's confidence based on your words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you give it away whether your child has confidence or not based on the way you even talk to her in a lesson. And I said, and the really good news is, and I said this in front of her, I know you're doing it out of love, like you're trying to help her, but imagine me sitting at your office and screaming at you to answer the phone. Did you do the email? Did you remember this? Oh my gosh, do this. Someone's at the, like at some point in time, you have to turn your voice off for your daughters. Like make it just silent, like just silent, you know, or if she says, be aggressive, or you say be aggressive, that's what she likes to hear, whatever it is. But like I gave him homework because he videotapes everything and shows her every bad swing, every bad at bat. I'm like, she is never to look again at a bad at bat or a bad swing. I want you to go back and I want you to compile me 10 to 20 of the best swings you've seen her take over the course of the last 6 months. And I need you to send them to me because I'm going to compile a video. And that's the only thing you're allowed to show her from here on out. Like if there's any video being done of something that needs to change, I'm going to show it to her when she's doing like working with me, because I can say, hey, what does that feel like? Okay, now let me show you what your hands are doing. I'm like, but I don't want her seeing failure as she's trying to go up to the next at bat. I want her to like be able to close her eyes and see like something great happening. And I'm like, because the bottom line, if you told her she only had to get 3 out of 10 spelling words right in the first grade, she'd be woohoo, I'm never going to study, but she'd never make it to second grade. In our sport, if she's 3 out of 10, she's in the starting lineup every freaking game, probably playing the position of her dreams. Mm-hmm. And so I think that for me is, I would just love to hear your feedback of, parents' effect on their young children. Obviously, as they get older, they've got to be able to mute that out, but on the young child's confidence.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're like so spot on. And it's funny. That's one of the things I actually like a challenge that I give the girls is I teach visualization, and I'm like, we're constantly looking at the video where we're failing or we didn't do it right, rather than looking at some of the video, like more of the video that's awesome, and like you're hitting a home run or you're getting a hit. Like, we need to be watching that before every game, not nitpicking every little thing when it comes game time. But like you said, like, use it as a tool, maybe with just you, maybe not dad.
But, yeah. And certainly not during games. I wouldn't even be videotaping you in games as your coach and showing you that. Like, the only thing I'm going to say to you is the things I know scientifically, the last thing you tell yourself is normally going to be the first thing you do, because it's just you're stacking and unpacking things, So if you want a young pitcher to hit a batter, just say, don't hit her. The very next pitcher is going to hit her. The very next pitch, like, shoot. And I learned that when I was 9 and pitching in my first All-Star game, because my pitching coach said, you want to win, hit the first batter. And I was like, I can't hit the first batter. I can't hit the first batter. What I do, I plugged the first batter. So I did exactly what they told you to do, So I love that. So
yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I know that it's like, so like one of the things that this one's like specifically for parents that I encourage the parents to do is, rather than like telling them what to do all the time and like giving them demands or trying to fix things or like telling them the adjustment to make, it's like, try to ask questions. Like, always like form your conversations and questions, because that like allows the athlete to really like think through and be their own coach and process things themselves without like having their parents, or even as a coach, like their coach's input all of the time. I think that's like a helpful, like, try and like switch your mindset when it comes to like those conversations, or when you're at the lesson with your daughter. It's just like asking questions like, okay, what went well today? Because we usually don't talk about what went well at all. We just talk about what didn't go well, but that can be a part of it too. Like, what didn't feel good, or like what was frustrating today. And this can be a lesson or a game. And then like, these are kind of like my go-to ones. Okay, so like, what did you learn from that? Like, what did you take away? Like, how did you get better based off of the things that went well and didn't go well? And then it's like, what do you want to work on this week? Instead of just being like, this is what you need to work on, blah, 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 blah. Right. And then that like opens a door as a parent to be like, oh, I think that's a great idea. How can I help you do that? If they want to be a part of that process, or they want to support it, and help out throughout the week, or be like, hey, like, maybe just text Carrie and say like, that's what we want to work on this week at lessons. But then they're like taking responsibility for what they're doing and what they're working on and their adjustments and their journey, rather than their parents constantly nitpicking at them. Trying to fix everything. And it comes from they just know, like my dad, I mean, this was definitely me and my dad growing up. And I know he had my best interest at heart. He just didn't know how to say it in the right ways. And I needed a little more like soft, tender love and encouragement, rather than the intense kind. And I know some girls can handle that. Like, one of my best friends playing that I played with at Northwestern, she like totally could handle that. And me, I'd be like just want to cry when I got that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
So I would say that's definitely a good like way of like switching up your mindset, especially as a parent or coach perspective. Just like try to ask a lot of questions rather than just like trying to fix everything.
Yeah, I love that. And I know too, Carrie, and I can't remember what episode it was, but we were talking to someone else about the confidence part and they said about autonomy. Like all kids want to do is they just want to have autonomy and like what they're doing, have the initiative to be able to think for themselves and figure out problems they're on their own. Like I feel like that was one of the first things that I learned in college is like, okay, I struck out 3 times. Like, well, what do I feel? Instead of being like, I got to do this, and this, it was a matter of like, well, what do I think is going on? I think that thought process, like that, like you were saying, like it gives you confidence in knowing that you know how to fix a problem instead of just being told all the time how to fix a problem. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember who that was too, Carrie.
I don't remember either. I'm so old. That goes out. I only keep like pertinent information at this point in time in my brain. But I think the thing that I'm so much older than both of you, and I coached prior to all of the technology and all of the visual feedback before there was mental training, before there was all of these really cool things. So for me, I geek out on all of them because I'm like, dang, had I had some of these tools, how cool would it have been? Mm-hmm. I also see the opposite effect of kids that's all they've ever had. And I kind of call it that paralysis by analysis. Like they're so into breaking down every detail of their swing that they forget to swing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, look, all you got to do is go. And I try to really encourage them to go and watch a lot of baseball. I'm not a big baseball fan because unless I'm on a social event and want to drink a beer and have a hot dog with my friends. But the thing that I am so amazed about the baseball hitters is the routine of getting into the box, of how relaxed they are. It's like it's ingrained in them. And you're like, for me as a softball player, it's like, gosh, just get in the box. And I laugh and I go, there it is. There's that, like, I got to go do this because it's our game, whether people like to admit it, is so much faster. And because of that, I think there's so many coaches, and I can't stand that we have watches that call pitches and everything about the game is so, there's no just purity left to it for me that I'm like, just play. Like, just go play the game when you were 8 and 9 or in the backyard and no one was analyzing your wiffle ball swing and you were hitting it over the fence. Like, that's how you decided you wanted to play. Like, go play. And I think that's the thing for me. But I think in one of the things that the questions I wanted that I really intrigued me is that you talk about how the confidence factor or the mental training can affect stats. And I think any daddy or any mommy or any coach out there that says, okay, prove it to me. Like, give me ways that you go, okay, it's going to, if you were to say to 90% of the people watching this that if you worked on the mental game of your daughter or your players and it raised their batting average 50%, you probably have to hire 15 people to work for you, because when it correlates to that, that's what people are wanting. Because that's really, everybody in our sport is outcome based. Like, just for example, my daughter one weekend hit horrible in her numbers, but it was the best weekend she hit. They were just missiles everywhere. The next weekend, we went back to the philosophy, if you can't hit, get hit or bunt. Like, it's okay, just become offense. And everybody's, oh my gosh, she had 9 hits. And I'm like, yeah, and 7 of them were bunts. They don't even know that. They're so outcome based by numbers. So talk to me about, with what you do, how you can back up by saying confidence is going to affect their stats.
Yeah, definitely. I have all the testimonials, and I don't track like people's batting average, like all my clients' batting averages. Right. Like, it's like I have the testimonials of girls that are like, they're doing better. They're getting more playing time. They're having more fun. They're not so hard on themselves. Like, those are the testimonials, right? I don't really have anyone. Well, I mean, I've had a few parents that track all the stats and they're like, oh, look, right? But it's really not that many. They're just happy that their daughter is enjoying playing the game again, that they're not overthinking every little thing. Like we were talking about, like the overanalyzing, like when you were talking about, I have a girl specifically that I've worked with for a while, and she was such the overthinker. Like, she would overanalyze everything in her at bat, and her swing, and we finally got her like out of her head, shifting the way that she was thinking, keeping it simple. And she got all of these like incredible honors after school ball. This was her senior year. She got her Division I scholarship. Like, so like those are the stats to me, like that are happening for her. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, that does.
Yeah. Pausing our episode really quick so that you guys know that our class of 2028 nomination forms are open now. So now until September 1st, you will be able to nominate your class of 2028 player for our rankings. We're really excited to see this class and how they have grown, how they're shining in their sport. I know travel season this year is wrapping up. I know that there are so many great class of 2028 players that really stood out this year. Make sure that you get your nomination form in now. Go to our website, extrainningsoftball.com, and there will be a button at the very top that says nominate here. So make sure to do that now so your class of 2028 player doesn't get missed. And we cannot wait to see all the amazing things that she has done so far. Now back to the episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when girl, I feel like it is more when there's a saying, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's like girls have to have fun to win, but boys have to win to have fun, or something like that. And I definitely think that's the case with women, athletes, is you have to have fun to be able to win. Like I don't know what it is about our wiring, but like if we're miserable and we're overthinking and all that, like we're never be successful. I feel like guys can kind of, the winning part is what's fun to them, which it is for girls as well. But I do think that when you're playing a lot more free and you're having fun and you're back to, just enjoying the game, is when you'll see those results because you'll be able to just like play free. Kind of like we said, like with your senior year, like, hey, might as well just rock it out and call it a day, and hopefully good things will happen. So I love that. I kind of want to ask you a question, because do you work just with softball players, or do you work with any other kind of athletes?
So I started out only like specifically working with softball girls, just because that was what I did.
Yeah.
And then I just kept having girls from like other athletes or their parents asking me, like soccer, volleyball, had some basketball, swimming. I kind of like worked with some swimmers, and I kept having people ask me. So I just opened it up to all athletes. I get a little specific with softball sometimes just because it's just so easy for me to talk about. But I do have lots of other athletes as well. I've even had like gymnasts. I had a horse riding, like a rodeo competition.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've gotten to learn about a lot of other sports or like just different ways to talk about it as well, which is really cool because it's definitely like prominent in every sport as an athlete.
Yeah, well, that's like what leads me to what I want to ask you is, like, are there any traits or habits that you see that the most confident, successful athletes have, regardless if it's softball, gymnastics, equestrian? Like, are there anything that you see that's that common ground with traits and habits that you see are the most successful, regardless of what sport they're in, for confidence and, making them more successful in their respective sport?
Yeah, definitely. I think that one of the things that I see the girls that are really successful, like that are seeing the success, is usually, so many of the girls that come to me are like work really hard, but they stop just only focusing on that physical part. And they're also like mentally preparing for games, not just like in their head. Like they're actually like writing some things down or writing like a reminder or a note, but like just creating a lot of intention before they even step onto the field or the court. I think the ones that are actually doing that work before are seeing more success when they're actually playing and competing. I think the other thing too is when they're like, they're finally like open up to like having a different approach and thinking differently. The girl that's telling you a little bit about who she was such an overthinker, and like she knew she was like good, but she would probably never say like I'm like really great, like I am one of the best ones on this team. Like she would never say that. And I know it's because a lot of these girls are very humble, and that would be like weird and awkward for them. But it's like one of the conversations I'm constantly having with the girls that are ready to like just kind of take their game to the next level and like really instill like that confidence for them. It's like I'm like, you have to start being a little bit cocky. Like I know it feels weird and uncomfortable, and it's not like anybody's gonna be like, oh my gosh, Charlie, you are so like cocky, ew, like gross, like you're annoying now. Like nobody is going to think that. Like it's literally just I have to like remind them it's just for you. Like it's what you are saying to yourself in your mind, like how you feel like going up to the plate or the box or the mound if you're a pitcher. It's like it's and something that I don't really love like the fake it till you make it thing. I think a better way of thinking about it is more like if you want to be the best player on your Division One college team down the road, like if that's your dream, your vision, like you have to start thinking like that girl before you're even there. And it's weird and it's hard and it doesn't feel normal, but the more that you like practice that and envision it and write it down and talk about it, like you're gonna start to believe it. One of the examples I also like to give to kind of give a visual is, have you guys ever seen Inside Out 2? The kids movie?
Yes, it's so good. And it honestly relates a lot to sports. So I love it.
I'm going to have to watch it because I haven't seen it.
You've got to. It's great. It's so good. I think I started crying at the end. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Both of them are great. But in Inside Out 2, it's like they're in her brain basically, or like in her head. And it's like kind of like the basement of her mind. And it has all these like old memories and thoughts, and they're like these bulbs, like these like glowing balls, and they're in there, and then it like stems up kind of like a tree, and it creates like her belief system about like what she believes about herself. So I'm like, a lot of the girls have seen it when I talk to them. I'm like, okay, like you have to kind of work from the top down. Like, what do you want to believe about yourself? Like that's your belief system, right? That like stem, that like big tree or whatever. And like that's what we see from the outside. Like, what do you want to believe about yourself? And like pushing them, like not just like, oh, I'm good. Like I can literally hit any pitcher that goes up against me. Like that's kind of one of my favorites or my go-tos. But that's their belief. And then what are the thoughts that we have to start choosing and thinking about to support that belief? Because you can't just like get to that belief without the work, like the thoughts, the things that you choose. And I think another one of the greatest things I ever heard was like, we don't control the first thought that comes up into our head when something happens, good or bad. But you know, we can talk about bad, like a strikeout. Like I'm probably going to think like, oh, that sucked, or like I suck, or why would I do that? Like I can't control that like initial thought, but I can control and choose the thoughts that come after that. And those are going to be those are the most important ones, because if you keep choosing that first one over and over again, like that's what you're going to be. Right. Like,
so much of what you're talking about is like, I've constantly told my daughter or kids I'm working with is talk to yourself the way you talk to your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, if you would listen to the way you talk to your teammate who's struggling,
mm-hmm.
and you talk to your same way, you'd be going, I've got this. It's no big deal. Because, you know, I hear my daughter, it's so funny. She'll stand on deck and her teammates hitting and they'll do like swing and miss or something. And she's like, so what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I wonder if you said so what to yourself, like if that would do different. And so literally this last week up at Nationals, we made eye contact at one time. I'm finally just mom, thank God. And she made eye contact and she goes, so what? And I just started laughing. And then she was on deck at one point and she was really struggling in this game. And she's like, yep, if you can't hit, get hit. She goes up the very at bat, sits there. The kid comes inside, she wears it and gets to first and she celebrates that. I'm like, holy cow, we're really starting to talk to ourselves the same way. Yeah, you know, like, and I was like, it's so cool when you start to see it play out. But I don't think, and I would love to hear this. I'm going to give a little bit of my thing. I don't think parents and players realize how much of your brain is programmed from the moment you've popped out of the womb to every reaction of how it goes. So all of those are like little programs that your brain goes to, and you as a human being and an athlete your body, it wants you to stay safe. It wants you to be comfortable. It wants everything to be perfect. And so it trains and it goes things and runs things that you don't even know you're running until you really start peeling it away like an onion and go, why are my thoughts always that first? And like, I laughed with this one girl and I said, what is like your dream car? And she was like, I want a white Jeep. And I said, okay, cool. I said, tell me again. And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. And so that night I called her. I'm like, how many white Jeeps did you see driving home? She's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen them, but I saw like 10. I said, imagine if your brain started thinking the same way. What do you want? See it. Now let's go get it. And every time your brain starts taking you away from it, or a negative voice, not even trying to be, starts taking you away, if you can recognize it and stop it, like what you're talking about, it's so much easier to recover. And once you start pointing out how their brain works to them, all of a sudden it starts to become almost like they said it was going to happen, and here it is. It's happening. Now I can say, hey, stop and turn left and go the different way. But I think what I'm doing is, I would love if you would share a secret, like walk us through what one of your mental training things would look like to teach an athlete to be able to show up more confidently. They've had a bad weekend, or maybe they're in a struggle spot, or walk us through what one of your mental tools would be, or training tools would be for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Giving them a glimpse into your crystal ball.
Yeah. So it's I had to find the percentages, because what you were talking about, like with the Jeep, and like your thoughts are repetitive, and this is something I actually learned it in church. And it was a statistic, and it like blew my mind. It was so it's about 95% of our thoughts are repetitive, and 80% of them are negative. So that's like where we have to work. That's like where the mental work comes in. Like if we can start shifting to not even just like positive thoughts, but like just good, better thoughts, like choosing those, like then they can become repetitive. And then that's when that like the belief system comes. But yeah, I heard that stat, and you reminded me of that. I was like, it was just crazy. So that's a good
It's
one.
amazing when you really realize how protective your own brain is.
Yeah.
It wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you comfortable. And once it's learned how to do that, it's going to constantly go to that, unless you realize, oh, I've got to reprogram myself. And there's a transformational period in that process. Like, it's not just going to go, oh, think good thoughts and boom, it happens. Like, there's a transformation. As long as it took you to get to the point where you're at, it takes you that long to do it. But if you can kind of sit in that transformation period and realize it quicker, that's when that true success starts to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, but to answer your question, so if I had a girl that maybe I had never met before, or this is a good example actually. I had a girl commenting on one of my posts, an athlete, and she was like, I am just like so not confident in the box. I'm struggling. I feel like I'm in a slump. I keep striking out. It's all I can think about. So it was so kind of funny because I replied back because I just wanted to give her like some like instant like let's start working on this a little bit without even like actually working with her. And so I commented her back like a few times, and it was like, okay, so what are you thinking about? And then she came back with, didn't answer the question at all. And I was like, okay, I totally get it, but what kind of thoughts are you thinking? Like, what is going on in your head? What does it sound like? I had to ask it in like a few different ways. And finally, I got to a few things that she was thinking about. But basically, my point is like, whenever I start with a girl, I'm working with a girl, I'm like, okay, like, what's actually going on? Like, how do you feel about yourself? What do you think about yourself? What do you believe about yourself? And like, basically trying to find like, what are the limiting thoughts? What are the doubts? What are the worries, the fears that she's having, so that we can kind of dissect them a little bit and like figure out, okay, well, first of all, like help them realize like, okay, are those things helping you or are they hurting you? Right. And then they're like, okay, they're hurting me. And then helping them realize that those are not truths. Those are lies that your brain, like kind of like we were talking about, are trying to trick you into believing. Like they're not truths. They're not facts. A lot of times it's like a bunch of speculation or what ifs and things like that. They haven't even happened. So just helping them see like what their brain and their like mind is doing to them. I always say like our brain's kind of a jerk sometimes.
Yeah.
and then helping like direct them to like, okay, well, you know, like what do you want to believe about yourself? Kind of like that belief system. Like what do you think would help you feel confident walking into the box? Or is there somebody that you look up to? Like, what do you think they're thinking about? Or what do you think they tell themselves when they step into the box? And they're like, well, they're probably telling us this. I'm like, okay, that's what we need to choose. All right. And I'm like, it is a choice. Like you have to choose it and you have to work at it. Just like, you know, when you go hit off the tee, you're getting reps in, right? Reps. Or actually one of my favorite examples is like when you were younger and you learned how to do a field a backhand. And like at first it was like the most awkward, weird thing ever. You just wanted to like scoot over right when the ball was hit that way. And it took time to just like your body to just naturally do a backhand. It's the same thing with your thoughts. It just takes time and practice and repetitions to get better at it, to be able to start having better thoughts and better beliefs about yourself and the awareness, right? Just like being aware. Sometimes I have girls that I've been working with forever. She's like, I don't even know what happened in that game. I hit like crap. And I was like, okay, well, did you do this? What were you telling yourself before the box? All this bad stuff. Did you visualize before your game? No. Did you breathe? No. Like, well, this is great news. Like, let's do that again. Like it's just going back to the basics, right? Like there's basics of the mindset part, and there's basics of your swing. Like go back to the basics, keep it simple, and just like, you know, it sounds cliche, but just go out there and swing. Just go have fun. Just do it, right? Like just go play, go compete. So I guess that would be like a little insight of what one of our initial conversations might be like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
well, I want to be able to wrap it up kind of talking about your Instagram page. That's where I've looked at a lot of your stuff and I love it. Like you have a lot of great reels. If you guys are listening and haven't checked out her Instagram yet, I'll give her the floor to navigate you guys to that. But you definitely give a lot of reels and stuff that are super relatable. I mean, even I'll watch it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought that's exactly how I felt one day at practice. And I haven't played in, 3 years. So just kind of give us where people can find you, your website, kind of what you have to offer, all that kind of stuff, giving you the floor to where if people are listening and are like, I really want to talk to her. I think she'd help my daughter, where they can find you and what they can expect from you when they do.
Yeah, definitely. So yes, I share a lot on Instagram. That's been, I've been trying to share lots and lots and lots on there. So you can find all sorts of good stuff there, which is always going to lead you back to the tools and like resources that I have. I'm always going to have free content on Instagram. I always have a free like download. And then I have also like very like low priced tools as well, like a $9 journal, something that you can use before and after games or in between games and things like that can really help prepare you. Like we're saying, some of the most successful girls that I'm seeing are doing that work. Like they're actually preparing before the games mentally and not just like showing up and warming up physically. But like little things like that. I'm actually getting really excited, and this actually got me more excited just talking today. I'm right in the middle of putting together a resource for coaches specifically. I always have coaches that reach out to me, and I have 2 little ones at home. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so getting out to do like workshops and stuff is a little more challenging
right
now. But I've been wanting to provide a resource for coaches to like be able to very easily, simply start implementing a few little mental training things into their practice or after a practice for 5 minutes, like 5 minutes, that could make a really big difference. And just some tools that they can take and use with their teams. So just like things like that. I do private mentorship as well. So yeah, that's, I mean, you can find my name.
And what is your Instagram handle so people that are listening?
Yeah, it's at Paige Tonz. So exactly how my name is spelled. And we were talking earlier, my maiden name, I use my maiden name because I've never heard anyone else with my maiden last name. So it's usually pretty easy to find. If you just search Paige Tonz, Tonz, it'll come up.
Perfect. Awesome.
Well, thank you for your time. This was very, very fun and very interesting. And I hope it helps people know how to find, there's so many resources out there, but I think a lot of times when you put a face to it and someone who can make it real and give you tools, it's a much easier way to do it. And certainly for the players, I think a lot of times when they realize they're working with someone who's played their own sport, it makes it much more, like not scary for them. It makes it to where they maybe give some more credibility because you've had the same struggles that they've had. And so I just would like to say thank you for sharing with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been really fun. It's always fun to chat about it and go in the weeds with it. And it's so cool hearing just like, Carrie, how you're using it with your daughter and your players. And it's just, I was talking to some people today that do similar work as I do. And it was just like, we get to do some like really neat things. And people always tell me like, oh, like you're doing such important work. And sometimes we like, as coaches, like, I think it can be forgotten that we are doing those things, but it is like very special. So.
And I think most importantly, the parents and players that are listening, the younger you start, the easier it is and the more success and growth you're going to see. Like it's harder to take a dog. Not that I'm saying players are dogs, but I am comparing them, I guess. It's harder to take a dog that's 8 and teach them new tricks as it is to take a puppy and teach them new tricks because they're excited about it and they're embracing it. And when these mental changes in the way people see the game or talk the game or view it or the way they practice becomes a habit, it allows them to grow in ways and reach heights that they wouldn't make a lot earlier. So it can affect their recruiting. It can affect who they're playing for. To me, it's the it factor. It's that it. Like, how do some kids have it and others don't? Well, 9 times out of 10, yes, they have to have skill, but 9 times out of 10, they've had someone teaching them some of the tools that you're talking about to make it easier to recover or easier to spring forward.
Yeah, definitely.
And confidence is something you have to have for the rest of your life. So if you can conquer it in softball, that's something you can carry on into your job. And then obviously like as a wife, as a mother, all that kind of stuff. So thank you again, Paige, for hopping on. I know that people are going to find a lot of value in this episode. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Voices from the Field presented by Extra Innings Softball. Don't forget to follow us on social media, subscribe to us on Spotify, and visit our website at extrainningssoftball.com for more stories, rankings, and updates from around the game. We'll see you guys next week.